Alright, so I'm onto the next section, and I'm building this 4-link bolt bracket that bolts up to the rear diff. So I've marked out the basic template at the moment. So all I did was similar to the last thing. I just used, where's my angle finder? Just used the same like angle finder type thing. Just got the angle of here and transferred it here. Just use a scale ruler to get the dimensions. I suppose the tricky thing is these bolts seem to be a bit offset. It's not in the middle, so I just did the same thing. I just got the scale ruler and got a rough estimate, and I made a template of the bolt holes from the A-frame that I removed. That gave me gave me the 3 points in relation to each other. I just measured up on this side here a measurement and measured that up square, and then with the 2 points I was able to get roughly where the 3 holes went. Going off that bracket, there's one hole that's 14 and 2 16. That gives you a bit of wiggle room, so I'll do that. I'm just going to cut this out now, and then I'm going to drill the 14, a 16 and a 16. And hopefully that fits. We'll see. I might have to grind out a little bit more, or drill out a little bit more to make it fit, but we'll see how that goes. Alright, so I cut this all the size, test fit it so all the holes are good. So now I'm going to start building these sections here, the pockets. So I've just got some 6mm. I've made the profile that I want, so I'm just going to make 2 sides, and then I'll weld a back piece just on here. So I'm just gonna, I've just tack welded it together. I'll drill a hole 14mm or 9/16 through here, then cut the profile, clean it up. I've still got my spacer here. I'll just bolt it up, spacers, weld the back bit on, and then I'll probably just tack them for now. So I've got to make 2 of them up, so I'll come back when I've made drilled these, made them up, and we'll figure out the positioning on here. Alright, so I've made up these pockets. Just did the same thing like before, just used a spacer. I used my angle finder thing to set the angle in here. So I set it at 40 degrees using my digital angle finder. So that's 40 degrees, just like you can see in the picture here. It says 40 degrees in between there, so that's 40 degrees here. I just tack welded it for now, just so once I'm happy that everything's fine, then I'll take it back off, weld it up fully, and paint it and chuck it back on for good. But that's that section for now. Alright, so I'm making up these arms now. They're the lower rear arms. So I've taken a measurement. This is the length that I'm using, so it's 50 by 50 by 5mm, and so on this end here is like a fixed housing. So I've got this here, that's the housing for my the joints I'm using, the metal cloak rubber joints. So I've just sort of cut that out. I'm just going to square it off, tack it up, and I'll weld this on, and then I've got to weld the threaded bung end onto the other end. So I'll do that. Okay, so I've finished. Just put a bit of edge primer. Yeah, so I've cut all these arms. I haven't done the other ends. Welded them, and I just ground them back a bit just to clean them up. Alright, so I've got my arm here, and I've got the square ends that screw in here now, the threaded bungs. So I've measured out what I need lengthwise and just tacked it on. I just make sure it's all square on both sides. I already checked it, but yeah, it's pretty good. So just square it, tack it up and weld it, and that's one arm done. So I'll go from there. Alright, so these arms are finished. I'm just painting them so you can see. So 1, 2, 3, 6 arms. I still have to. I've still got a bit of welding I've got to do on one of the arms. I'll grind that back a bit later. And yeah, so that's it for now. We'll come back when I start putting the rear together. Alright, so I've got started on. I've just tacked up these things, the rear mounts. I've got my diff mount. I've chucked the springs in. What I need to do is on these lower mounts on the diff is space them out because they're too wide in between the mounts. So I made some 6mm spacers, just being held in here by the nut. I'm going to just tack weld it, and I'll pull this off, do the same on the other side, and I'll mount these arms up. We'll have a look what they look like. This is where I'm up to. I fitted the arms on, fitted this on. I've put the arms in and sort of just welded up what I could on here. I'll just pull it off now, finish welding it up, paint it, put it back on final, then I'll bolt everything back up once the weight's back on it. Alright, at the point of no return now. I've already started cutting off the mounts, so that's it, it's no turning back now. Alright, so this is the 6-inch lift. How it's looking. The front's still stock. You can see. It's sort of, I don't know if you can see, but sort of the mount seems to be a little bit facing forward, but I think it's because once the front gets lifted up, that should shift back a bit. So in the rear, I've got 6.5-inch springs, the Bilstein's 6.5-inch, the extended sway bar links. You can see I've painted up my diff mount. I've tightened it all up. Let's have a look under here. So you can see these are our mounts with their holes for the screws through here. Metal cloak joints. Just use the recommended arm lengths that were on the instructions for the Clayton's off-road kit. So you can see I've just with these with the arms, I've just welded them every couple. I've got the front mounts here. here, good out. Yeah, mounts. Yeah. So that's basically the rear section done. And so I'm on to the front section now. Alright, so that's it.